la 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 long, la 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 long, 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 long. Sing it. La 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 long, la 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 long, 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 long. Woo, woo, woo. Yeah. I'm looking in your big brown eyes. Oh yeah. And I've got this to say to you. Yeah. Girl, I want to make you.
All right. Good morning. It is July 1st, just like that. Second half of 2026. How'd you do the first half? Did you follow your process? Did you follow your rules? Were you stubborn? Were you in the right sectors? Did you make strong decisions at the right time? Did you work on your mindset to get it right so you can execute on the X's and O's? Well, guess what? Whatever you did in the first half is behind you. So if you want to learn from it, learn from it. If you want to build on it, build on it. But the beauty of being a trader is come July, which it's July, we all start at zero. And you're only as good as your last month, your last quarter. So with that being said, if you had a great first half, congratulations. There was a lot to do. It was very interesting. Here we are entering the second half of 2026. If you're watching the 630 Club, if you're tuning in, I have gratitude. You're taking accountability. You're using your resources. Just so you know, if you are not a member of the Red Dog Mindset, which is that subscribe button above, at some point you might lose the 630 Club, but you will never lose it by being a member of the Alpha Team. I'm also going to probably be doing, not in the third quarter, but the fourth quarter, a lot of Fridays. But for now, we're here. We're going to get started. If you remember, I wasn't here yesterday. I had a funeral in Dallas, so I wasn't around. So if you really missed the 630 Club yesterday, well, guess what? You might be missing a lot more if you don't subscribe above. All it is $10 a month. This is $5 a day. And, you get Red Dog in the flesh, baby. Anyway, I am the founder of T3, and I am also the founder of Red Dog Mindset, and I'm the chief strategic officer. But anyway, if you remember on Monday, I was talking to you guys about will the Qs fill the gap? Will we get some power? And guess what? We had a nice 2-day move. I think a lot of traders made a lot of money to end June, which is nice. Now the question is, does this bigger channel continue to go sideways and then take out the highs at some point? Maybe it won't be in the summer. Maybe it'll be in the fourth quarter. But for now, this gap is gone. Goodbye. It was nice to switch gears. You could have made some good money in the indices. If you look at the SPYs also did the same thing. SPYs filled this gap. I remember saying yesterday, or was it? It was no, actually it wasn't yesterday. It was like 2 days ago, when the SPYs were hovering at like 739. I'm like, the longer it stays here, the higher the probability gap gets filled, sellers lose control, and we could be back into a little bit more opportunistic type of tape. And PS SPYs went almost as high as 750, which is another level here. It went to actually 748.02. So let's put that in there, 748.02. People were very, very excited with me because SpaceX, yes, SpaceX, which has been like, I feel like you want to say, who's your daddy? I've been SpaceX's daddy. No, I'm kidding. But anyway, we did send out a power play. Yes, we did. If you remember on Monday, I'm like, if SpaceX can get and stay above, you could remember the level in your head. It was, what was it? Hold on, I'll tell you right now the level it was. It was right here, 159. Chances are you could have a move into the NASDAQ 100, and it could be a good one right there. So with that being said, we put it on as a power play options. That's where I tell you what to do. That's where you get an email from editing saying Scott Redler says buy these, and we bought the options here. Took off a third yesterday. Also, the virtual trading floor saw me buy the stock here, added to it, and here you are. SpaceX is up 4. So what a nice trade. If you tuned in on Monday with the 630 Club, chances are could have paid for your year with just that little trade. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, the virtual trading floor saw me buy options and the stock, and every now and then it's good when a good trade happens. Anyway, with that being said, this is SpaceX. I would trim into this up move. We also, I think we talked about it on Spaces too. I remember talking to one of the guys about it. He was talking about the importance of 176, and I was like, that's really important. On after day one of the IPO, which gave you the 225, it's not as important this time. But this could be some resistance here, which it's basically coming into. So that was a nice trade. I was on the road. It helped me, and every now and then it's nice to be on the road making money in a newer name. And then some people are like, hey, Red Dog, Tesla gave a day one and a day two. Finally, it's been a long time. Like yesterday was Elon Day. I'm like, yes, it did. I'm like, sometimes a day one could give you a day two. And this was a huge day one, huge. Opened down a little bit, took out the high from the prior day, and went as high as what's it called? How high did Tesla go yesterday? Went to 424. So that's a nice 2-day trade. 2-day tactical trade. Tesla's been, not special. Tesla's been in a void. It's been a choppy mess. And then finally, big day up, and then gave you a way to buy it. I was actually in Texas. I was going to tell trade support to buy it. I just didn't do it. Instead, I bought more SpaceX when it was down $2. So again, you can't kiss all the babies. That's what I say, or all the girls. You can only kiss a few. You don't have to be in everything to make a living. A few things. Anyway, Sandus down 100 so far. Okay, let's see why is Sandus down 100. Had a big day yesterday. Look at that. Sandus is trading like it's not done. Sandus, you said, is down a hundo. Is it really? Hold on. Yeah, it is down 100, isn't it? Down 4%. I wonder what came out on Sandus. So I guess MU is probably down. And MU is down 42. That's interesting. All right, so we'll see what the story is there. I know I made some money on NVIDIA yesterday because I held it. NVIDIA gave me a little bit of a red dog reversal at 191 and then gave you a push. So with that said, that was a nice entry. NVIDIA hasn't been the video of old, but every now and then tactically it gives you a nice trade. And guess what it did? It went below 191, came back above 191 and gave you a nice trade. So we'll see what happens into the gap here. What's NVIDIA doing? Is NVIDIA trading down with those guys? That's down $1, not too bad. After giving you a nice 2-day trade, maybe you could buy a dip here in NVIDIA today. Maybe it dislocates because it wasn't as strong as these guys. It's funny because I think someone said that BAML, Bank of America, came out and was positive and upped their targets for the third and fourth quarter. But whatever, we'll see. Probably let's see if I were, I'm in a little bit of MU, which is kind of annoying, but we'll see. Does it hold 1121-ish? Where is it now? MU it's a little bit below. All right. Anyway, anyone see some news out there? Yeah, crowd's been really strong. ASTS was the best. Sam Stevens, you better have made money. Last Thursday or Friday, I told you guys I was selling puts in ASTS into support, selling puts in Rocket Labs into support. That was a way for me to collect premium, and I bought the stock, and I'm still in ASTS. ASTS did great. ASTS came in to big support. Everyone's like, what do we do here, Red Dog? I'm like, well, what you could do is you could sell puts. I sold the $60 puts for $4. Give me the premium. And then once it took out this prior high, I bought the stock, and I'm still in it. Nice trade so far. What's it doing today? It is down $1, not a big deal. Rocket Labs also. Rocket Labs, if you sold when it broke 134 or when it lost the 8-day, I was selling, I think 70. What did I sell? $75? Yeah, I sold the 75s. Wow, that was a great sell for like $4. And then I did play the stock. Remember, I was sitting here after hours. They came out with some news with NASA, and I tweeted to the public. I'm like, this is some pretty big news considering how far down it is. But anyway, gave you a move right back up into resistance. At this point, the easy bounce trade is probably over in Rocket Labs and here. And now it's got to, probably see a little bit of resistance there. But that was a great trade. Again, 630 club strikes again. Trying to add value. What up, Michael? But if you are on the if you're on the alpha team, then you really benefit. You get to see everything. It flashes when I add it. It flashes when I take off. You see positions come on and off. And anyway, it's up to you. If you didn't have a great first half and you're trying to piecemeal content from different people all around social media, well, maybe you should find yourself a community, find yourself a home, and learn and grow with them versus trying to save money by piecemealing this, and that, because you're never going to get anywhere. Got to spend some money to make some money also. But anyway, we'll move on. So Kospi was down. That affected RAM and also rumors of China competitors. Thank you, Strong. That was out there the other day. That was so Apple. People like Red Dog. When am I going to get back in Apple the way we were from 260 till about 312? I'm like, well, it's true. I probably can get back in Apple. I just haven't really. It's been very it's been what's the word? It's been a little trickier, but it's trying to fill this gap like everything else. Maybe today it gets above 289.91. That's 289.91. I still think the foldable phone's a big deal. No one else really thinks that, but whatever. We'll see what happens here. This gap is now less. You can make this gap less, so it came into it a little bit yesterday. So I would think maybe the dip is viable today in what's it called in Apple. But again, has some work to do. This was when they sold the event. That was when you could have got short, switch gears, and remember the sell rules. Not only did they sell the event, they created an outside day. So if you didn't get out of 315, you could have got out of 307 if you were an active trader. And then much better to get out this day than hold your nose and go underwater to 273. Oh, so Sam Stevens says, what about Sybin? Yes. I was in Miami the other day also. And, the guys in Miami, they're taking peptides. They're microdosing. They're not drinking anymore. And they look the best I've ever seen them look. I haven't did that, but, so we were looking at stocks. My friend is saying, what about CYBN? They changed the name of that, I think, to Dose. Is that the name of it now? I don't know exactly the name. I got thrown off when they changed the name. But anyway, with that being said, someone said, will it help MSOS? Really hasn't. Oh, actually, MSOS gave you a little perky day yesterday. I have some options there. No wonder why my options were a little bit better. But anyway, MSOS, you would think the war is over. Maybe, maybe Trump will say something about safe banking, but he hasn't really yet. So anyway, so Microsoft came out and announced layoffs. So I was actually on the phone with my friend before on the way in, who I always talk to. I'm like, well, is Microsoft up on it or not? Are they rewarding layoffs so then margins get better and they get more efficient? Or are they talking about Jobageddon, where AI is going to get rid of too many jobs and that's going to be overall bad for the economy? So as of right now, just good to know, it's up 6. They're still buying layoffs. So I guess they're rewarding that, thinking that, hey, they don't need as many people working on Microsoft if AI is doing all this kind of stuff. So it's up 6. What's this level right here? This level for Microsoft is 380.50. Is it above that now? Let's see. Hold on a second. No, it's not. So this is a little spot right here. This is what I say, 380.50. Can it get above that from the other day? Maybe. Can you buy an up open in Microsoft? It hasn't really been great to do, but you do have a little bit of a double bottom here after this island top. And then if it does get above there, here's your 21-day and here's your 50-day if this broken bounce wants to continue. So 380.50 for Microsoft. Someone said, what about ServiceNow? Yeah, peaked at 139. It also gave you day one, peaked into it kind of topped down to the moving averages. It's not really that compelling. You could take this down and go like, if I traded the other day, it gave you a little support. This is 103. That's where it just was, 103-ish. Software likes to also be up while semis are down, just the way the computers are programmed, but still broken type stuff. You got to babysit AI though. That's true. Well, you need like one big person. So good morning. Can you look at Lila? Lila? Libertarian Latin America. Something happened here where it came all the way in and rallied right back to resistance. I'd be careful into here, just a big congestion. I don't know what happened, so I can't really tell you, but should be some congestion there. AXON, you want me to look at? Nice little move there. Gave you a bull flag breakout, took back the moving averages. 3 up days though. You always want to be a little careful buying after 3 up days. Now it's on its 4th. I would be trimming into this level. I wouldn't be buying it. Just saying, like, you buy in day 1, you add day 2, you trim a little day 3, and if you're in a day 4, those 4 days make you good money. I get it. Large insider buying, okay. Um, Someone asked me, what about Google? Yeah, Google gave a little bit of a trade back to resistance. I made some money right before leaving in Google when it cleared this spot, this 346, but now it's coming right into resistance, right where it broke down from. Good to see though that a tactical trade could happen. It held 334, cleared this 346 to give you a decent kind of action there. Um, what do you think about Trump making $2 billion in 2025? I can't control what he did. Some people followed his moves and crushed it. So don't hate a hater. I'm just saying it's like, some people hated on Nancy Pelosi, but if you did the Nancy Pelosi tracker every time she bought something and bought options because she knew what was going on, you could have bought it also. I remember when Trump bought Dell. He bought Dell down here. And look at that, where he made the move to have Dell set up accounts for kids with Michael Dell. And look at this beautiful chart right here, just held the 21-day. I remember when he bought Intel, people were like, oh my God, he's buying Intel. I'm like, well, you could buy Intel also. That was here. So anyway, with that being said, Intel did a red dog reversal. The 21-day came all the way back up. So I don't try and fret over things I can't control. I am not a huge far left fan. I'm not a huge far right fan. I try and be a common sense in the middle guy. I try and add value to you guys, to my family, to my community. I donate my time to Rocktoberfest, the rec commission. We just built 2 fields. So I try and do things that I could do. I pick up garbage every day at friggin' Dunkin' Donuts. I don't have the power to indict Trump, but I have the power of not voting for him again. I didn't vote for him the second time. I voted for him the first time. I didn't vote the second time. I voted for Obama the first time because I wanted change. Didn't vote for him the second time. So, I'm not just stuck in the mud, just like a trader. You got to move your feet. Anyway, with that said, what do I care about? I care about my family. I care about my friends. I care about the Alpha team. I care about Conrad. I care about Phoenix, my dog, Chase. I don't care the money that Trump made. It is what it is. If he broke the law, people will figure that shit out. Anyway, what can I leave you with? I'll leave you with the SPYs because it is 649. Coming into some resistance at 750, filled the gap here. Nice trade in the SPYs. I actually went long the SPYs options. And then into the end of the day yesterday, I shorted some 747s and 749s, thinking that, hey, maybe there's some resistance here when it's high as this is 750, so you could make this a little bit higher. We'll see if they buy the dip. The SPYs are only down $1.59. You have some new flows coming in, so we'll see where some of the money goes. Right? Sometimes things change in a new quarter. Sometimes there's a shake and bake, where institutions could then take some profits, move their feet. So it's our job to see where those feet get moved to. Anyway, can I look at Meta? Sure. I haven't really traded Meta in a while. It's been a piece of what. We'll see what happens here. Meta's been like stuck in this downtrend, and it's been a pain in the butt. Last time I really tried to play Meta was right here, and I had a great trade, and then all of a sudden it went like that, and I was like, what, this stock is just really, really hard. It does seem like you have a small descending channel here, where if it wanted to, get a little bit better, you could probably trade it through here, but Meta's been really hard, very hard money in Meta, so from 795 down, you would think Zuckerberg can get it. You could think that maybe you can go out a few months and buy some calls. But overall, Meta has not been an easy trade. It's up $2 today. Kind of, I would say if Meta gets above and stays above 571, maybe there's a little better action there. Same thing with Amazon. Amazon's been a tough trade. Even the Mag 7 has not been easy. It just hasn't. So anyway, we'll see if that changes. We'll see if some of the flows go back there. But for now, if Meta gets above 571-ish, there's some room. All right, guys, 651. It's a new quarter. It's a new month. We all start from zero. If you trade for a living and you get paid monthly, let's stack some days. If you get paid quarterly like I do, hopefully you had a great quarter. We all have a lot to learn from the first half. I know I do. At one point I was down well into the 6 figures, and now I'm back to the highs of my year. So for me, it freaking feels great. Down 6 figures, got caught in a few things, stacked days, made it back, communicated, did my note, helped everyone through it, on Siri XMSR, Fox Business, stocks, I handled my process pretty well. So for me, I could feel confident and good about it. How do you feel about what you're doing? You know, if you want change, you better make changes. If you tune into the 6:30 Club, that's half the battle. If you're a member of Red Dog Mindset, getting your body right, your mind right in the morning, your routine and your process, cool. If you have some things you could do better, no time better than today. Don't say one day, say day one. All right, guys, got to jump. Oh, I like the song.